I think Rappa is one of the most fun units yet, and has some awesome future potential, whilst already being pretty powerful in 2.6. Hey, Gopo here! My Gopa outfit wasn't rigged in time, so it's your fellow Galaxy Ranger here today. Anyways, I was really happy with Rappa's performance. She has a lot of versatility, and I'll explain why today. I tried cooking a bunch for this one, and I'm really happy with it, so make sure to stick around. I'll be going through her kit and how it really works, then it's on to her Eidolon review, best builds and lycones, and then teams. Like and sub and share if you're cool, I know you are, stop lying to yourself. And now, let's begin. Rappa is a 5-star Imaginary Air Edition unit and our first of this combo, which is awesome. Among base stats, she has a weirdly high base attack despite being a break DPS, and a pretty high energy cost of 140, but I think it's okay thanks to her kit. For leveling priority, you should absolutely prioritize her talent before anything else. After that, it's really her ult, but it's still kind of negligible. And her skill and basic levels only contribute to attacks and scaling, so you can even ignore those two. Very cheap unit. Onto abilities, and we can skip her regular basic attack and skill, they do nothing special. But now onto the wall of text, that is her actual kit. So Rappa's ultimate lets her enter the Seal form state, and she will immediately gain 1 extra turn, which is very important, and then she will obtain 3 points of Chroma Ink. She will also increase her weakness break efficiency by 50% and break effect by 30%. During this state, she can't ult again or use her skill. Chroma Ink is what she uses to enhance her basic attacks. She gains 3 from the Seal form state, and when using an enhanced basic attack, she consumes 1 Chroma Ink. When depleted, no more Seal form, and thus no more enhanced basics. I'll talk more about that extra turn after the rest of the kit because it's kinda awesome. And so those enhanced basic attacks are called Ninju, Demon Bane, Petal Blade. Basically, it is a 3-step attack. First, 2 blast attacks to one target and their adjacent enemies, and you can choose who these blast attacks hit. Then the third part attacks all enemies on the field. The blast will do 10 base toughness reduction to the center target, 5 to adjacent, and then the AoE hit will do 5 to all targets. This is a total of 25 against a single target, 15 to adjacent ones, and 5 to any remaining targets. These enhanced basics won't generate any SP, meaning she is SP neutral during it, and overall slightly negative or positive depending on if she used her skill or basic before entering. Now Rappa can ignore elements on these bad boys. If attacking a non-imaginary weak target with her enhanced basics, she'll do 50% of the original toughness reduction. This is some very low toughness even with the weakness break efficiency, but it's just about what we need for her to excel in any element in pure fiction. Her talent up next, and this further boosts the power of these enhanced Demon Bane Petal Blades. Every time an enemy target is weakness broken, Rappa gains 1 point of charge up to 10. And when launching the third hit, the AoE, of her enhanced basic, she will additionally deal 60% break damage multiplier to all enemies. The first 2 hits of her enhanced basic can also accumulate charges during the attack for the third hit. And this break multiplier will be increased by 50% for each charge up to an insanely stupid 560% break damage multiplier. This will go through the normal imaginary break formula, so it will be multiplied by 0.5 and the enemy max toughness, but the base multiplier is kinda crazy when maximized, and versus high toughness enemies this is going to hit like a truck. It's hard to max out though outside of AoE fights, or in a specific case like the Exo toughness buff in MOC, which is really broken. What also happens is Rappa does an additional 2 toughness reduction to all enemies, plus 1 for every charge. And this will ignore all elements again, but unlike the enhanced basic part 3, it will not be reduced by 50%. In easier terms, her enhanced basic has 3 parts. Part 1 and 2 are blast, 10 toughness center, 5 adjacent, halved versus non-imaginary weak. Part 3 is fully AoE, 5 to all targets, halved versus non-imaginary weak. Then you get another 2 to all targets, plus 1 for each charge she has, and this isn't halved versus non-imaginary weak. I hope that makes sense. Finally, her technique makes her surf around for 20 seconds, and when entering combat, she does 30 toughness reduction to all enemies regardless of weakness type. This is really good for giving energy to Harmony MC, by the way. Then it does a decent break damage multiplier to every enemy, even if you don't break, and then again to every adjacent enemy that exists. Basically, if facing versus 3 targets, the center one will get 3 instances of damage, and the adjacent ones 2 each. She also regens 10 energy. It's a very powerful technique. Trace is up next. First off, when an elite or higher enemy has their weakness broken, Rappa will now gain 1 additional charge and regen 10 energy. This means 2 charges per elite, which gives her a bit of power in MOC and AS, and also helps her out with those elite spawns in Pure Fiction. The 10 energy regen is kinda bonkers, just like Harmony MC's talent but a bit weaker. Her second passive will let her enhance basics and now also do super break damage, albeit a pretty weak multiplier. But now not only does she have break damage procs on her talent, just like Boothill and Boothill alone, she also has innate super break in her kit, just like Firefly and Firefly alone, at least among DPS. She combines the best of both worlds. Finally, when an enemy becomes weakness broken, she will increase the break damage they take by 2% up to 10%, scaling on her excess attack. Basically, at 3200 attack, enemies will have a 10% break vulnerability on them. It's not that strong, but it's there, I guess. Trace bonuses are actually 3 beneficial ones to damage, which is rare. 28% attack, which can convert for the break vulnerability, 9 speed, which is massive, and 13.3% break effect. Now for a quick Eidolon review after that long talk about her base kit. E1 gives her 15% def ignore during Seal Form, classic E1 on break DPS. It also gives her 20 energy upon exiting it, which is really nice to have since she can sometimes struggle on ult uptime. Ideally on her you want to finish your 3rd enhanced basic, and then ult ASAP and keep the damage going, and E1 helps a ton with that. E2 gives her increased toughness reduction on her chosen target on the first 2 parts of her enhanced basic attacks. It's a nice buff to MOC and AS breaking potential, as well as super break damage. E4 is weirdly a full team 12% speed buff during Seal Form state. Now this with the extra turn stuff could also do some cool things. Finally, E6 increases her charge upper limit by 5, so that multiplier and toughness reduction goes crazy. And then it also gives her an instant 5 charges when battle starts, on top of always giving 5 after the 3rd hit of her enhanced basic. Basically, on top of those 10 charges you can accumulate here and there, she will always be guaranteed to do another 5 charges worth of damage and reduction on top, which is pretty incredible. Build time gamers, we made it here. For Relics, you can actually ball on a bunch of different ones. For maximum damage, Iron Cavalry will be your best bet as it buffs both your crazy break damage on top of super break damage. This is the go-to for MOC and Apocalyptic Shadow for damage. Now in Pure Fiction, I really recommend you go the Thief set. Thief set's flat energy will make sure you are pretty much always in your Seal Form state in Pure Fiction, meaning every action is a crazy enhanced basic rather than a random skill here and there. And you don't need the power of Cavalry in Pure Fiction anyway, it's way overkill. So maximizing your turns that will one-shot waves regardless is way more important. The flat energy is way more powerful than an energy rope too. Finally, I think the Eagle set can have some crazy zero cycle potential due to the nature of her being able to use her ult whenever she likes. Head with Dance 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 on Harmony MC and you'll be soaring through the action order. For planers, your best bet will be the Talier set, as Forge cannot always be maximized. Main stats will want you to go Attack Percent Chest, Speed Boots, Attack Percent Orb, and Break or Energy Rope. In Pure Fiction, I just run Thief with Break Rope, and you can try to run an Energy Rope if you want to run her in MOC or Apocalyptic Shadow, as she has much worse energy uptime. You do get a ton of break effect in a super break team, and her ult is very important, so it's a possibility. But I just try her out with either and see what feels best as fights can vary. Also, there is one very niche scenario I have used in MOC and AS where you can go Energy Rope, and it works really well. But I'll talk about that in the Light Cone and also Teams part. For a stat goal, break effect is very varying, and this is considering out of combat, so before combat and team buffs. When considering a break rope or light cone, you can aim for around 170% break effect. With both combined, you're looking at around 230%. Without both of these things, you're hovering around 110 to 120% break effect, but I'd aim for at least a cone or a rope with BE. For attack, try and get her to 3.2k, but it's whatever if you can't. And speed, you can aim first for a nice 145, and then try to get to 160. 150 to 151 is also fine if running her signature with the Eagle set or Harmony MC on Dance Dance Dance. Speaking of signatures, let's check it out. Ninjutsu Inscription Dazzling Evil Breaker will first increase the wearer's break effect by a massive 60%. Then when entering battle, immediately regen 30 energy, which is affected by energy regen. This allows for a first turn ult. Yes, we are gatekeeping first turn ults now. Then after ulting and then using 2 basic attacks, you get a 50% advance forward. Yes, now we have advance forward on DPS cones. Basically, it cuts your next turn after using 2 basics in half, doubling your effective speed. So it all sounds OP, but we have other options and they worked just fine. First though, let's talk about that energy and advance forward. She starts endgame modes at 70 energy, half of your max energy as always. Her technique gives 10, so you now have 80, and her sig gives 30, so now you have 110. A skill brings her to 140 for a first turn ultimate after that skill, so you then get that free enhanced basic right after. But let's go even further. If we combine that with Rame Sig, Fine Fruit on your Ling Shot or Gallagher, and an Energy Rope on Rappa, we can first turn ult without even taking an action. Yes, this sounds absurd, but it was actually pretty crazy because of how she works. Getting an ult before her first action means she gets that extra turn enhanced basic, and then can do it again instantly on her real turn. Combined with the advance forward, and she's acting again very soon. This was very powerful for MOC and Apocalyptic Shadow runs. In fact, I zero cycled with this in MOC. For even funnier stuff, here's her acting at 8 AV with Bonwhack, Dance Dance Dance, and Windset using this first turn ult tech. Man, I love this unit. But yeah, back to normal energy Rappa, and onto that advance forward, which is kinda crazy. Every third enhanced basic out of your 3 per ult is gonna happen way sooner, and it means if you have a permanent ult uptime, you are zooming. If permanently ulting, you have an effective action gauge of 25,000 per 3 turns, which gives you an effective, undiluted 1.2 times speed multiplier. So if you had 167 speed, for example, you'd act as if you had 200 for speed breakpoints. If you're using the Windset or Dance 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 on Harmony MC and using this cone, at 151 speed you can act 4 times in the first cycle, including 3 enhanced basics. You would skill on Rappa, Harmony MC ult after her turn if using Dance on them, and then Rappa ult. This gives you an action gauge of 7,500 or 7,600 for turn 2, and then you get the 5,000 from your signature cone giving 50% advance forward, making her third turn happen just before the end of cycle 1. So I think her signature is pretty freaking cool. For other options though, her best damage wise will be after the Charmony Fall for its break effect and speed buff. Just make sure you don't ruin any tuning with the ult out of nowhere giving her too much speed. And another incredible option, rejoice everyone because I think we will have it S20, is Make the World Clamor. That first turn skill into ult is really strong to have to get her going, and so despite having 0 benefit for break damage, the energy on this cone is excellent. The only other cones I'd include would be Eternal Calculus for the speed and pure fiction, and Passkey for the extra energy, but you really don't want to be spending time using her skill really, so just use Clamor if you don't have Charmony or her Sig. So my thoughts on Rappa changed a lot after playing her. In pure fiction, she managed to 40k both sides, despite only one side being imaginary weak. There is of course a break blessing, but she did amazingly thanks to her Omni Element shredding power. She'll break all enemies, do break damage, super break damage, let Harmony MC gain energy, and she will also gain charges to do even more break damage. She is crazy there, especially with the Thief set for perma ults. So if you need a carry for any element in PF, I think she can honestly do it, which is crazy. For Apocalyptic Shadow, she does amazingly into Fantile as it is AoE, but also imaginary weak. But I think even if it was 3 targets, she would perform very well. When Sunday comes around in his weekly boss form, she will also destroy him in my opinion. Versus non-imaginary weak though, on the Aventurine side it is a no-go, but handling on-element AS with a high AV finish is a great feat. For MSC we had the Eternal Show boss, and I zero cycled it with Energy Rope Rappa with the first and ult tech, 4-star Charmony Cone Rappa, and Signature Rappa, and I even zero cycled it without ulting on Rappa on the first wave. She just destroys this boss. I mean, the team is designed to destroy this boss, and Lingsha makes it even easier. However, her zero cycling it is still an awesome feat as an erudition in MOC, especially in 4 unique ways. But I will also talk about just how broken this Exo toughness is. Basically, a smaller toughness bar appears when breaking a real one in this MOC. The enemy is still broken, you can just kind of break them again. So it gives more break damage for the team with an extra break proc. It gives more break damage procs from Raw May. It means double the charge stacks for Rappa, and then it means double the extra charge and energy from breaking elites for Rappa. It also gives more energy for Harmony MC, so even more DDD shenanigans. I mean, it could also double proc the Thief set if you wanted it to. I think Exo Toughness makes Rappa top tier in on-element MOC, so I want to see how she performs outside of that. And again, she suffered on the other side outside of Imaginary Weak even with this mechanic, but the fact she's doing pretty dang well into Imaginary Weak AS and MOC gives me high hopes, on top of her insane performance in Pure Fiction. Though please remember about the break blessings and oriented enemies in MOC. So for now, she functions like a great on-element type DPS in 2 modes, and any element in PF. Kinda amazing, no? For teams, I've just stuck with the Super Break core, it's just way too good. Harmony MC can run Memories of the Past, but in Exo Toughness MOC and especially Pure Fiction, they should absolutely run Dance Dance Dance. You also have my first turn ult variation I'll show again, which needs Signature on Rappa, Andrew on May, as well as an NG Rip on Rappa, and Fine Fruit on your Abundance unit. In PF, you could also probably run Bronya -1 speed on Rappa to give her double the turns if you don't have Ra on May. And I could see her being run with the usual Pure Fiction sub DPS. I love the Super Break team too much though with her to not run it, but I also hope it gets more variations soon. Anyways, that was a long one, but I'm really happy with this unit. Galaxy Rangers just go all out on cool kits, huh? Like and sub if this video helped you out, and share to anyone you think might like this video. Thanks to my amazing YouTube members, thanks for watching, and have a Guoba day.